Howdy, everybody. Welcome on into the cargo bay where I think it's possible that we are alive
I think there's a
and
chance
public.
that maybe I see a red dot, which is, I think, a good
Encouraging.
indication. It's a good start compared to where we've been recently in terms of our live status. Let me pull up the home. I don't know. I really don't know.
I just got an update on my end that shows a live feed of what I am sending out to the internet.
Okay.
It says it's public. It says it's an excellent connection.
Baby, we're live.
We're live. All right.
Yeah.
We did it, BC.
Ha!
All right. Well, do we have any juice left to talk about 2024 top Star Wars Chrome,
All right.
BC?
Hey, just a peek behind the curtain, y'all. This is the fourth time we've tried to start the live. So we've had extensive, just fascinating conversation so far about 2024 top Star Wars Chrome. And in the sake of, being really good at what we do here at the Cargo Bay, we're gonna muster it up like we're talking about it for the first time. Because hey, everybody, we got top Star Wars coming out this year. What a world! What a world,
BC.
We're back. We're so back, baby. We're so back. It's been a barren wasteland for a YouTube channel whose I think primary existence has centered around top Star Wars trading cards, and then for them to not have a mass release for like 7-8 months has been a little tough.
Yeah.
A little challenging.
Last release was episode 1 Sapphire. Is that right?
Yes, it was. It was episode 1 Sapphire, which I do not care about. Shout out JB in the comments. Good to see you,
JB.
It was. It was met with a wet fart by me. I just didn't care.
Yeah.
I didn't think they were that bad. It just was like,
no.
I think when we talked about it, we're like, for it not being tied to an actual original set, they did a good job with it, but it just didn't, for the price that Sapphire sells, I was just like, I'm good on that.
But this might be something that we can buy a box of, right? This is following on the heels of last year's Star Wars Chrome, which was essentially like a retail budget-friendly product.
Yes, this is currently, you can buy this on GameStop's website right now if you are so interested.
Wow.
They do have hobby and blasters. I know Hobby boxes, it's kind of weird. Hobby's doing its 10 packs with 10 cards per pack. Okay. So it's different than the what is it? It's normally 4 cards and 24 packs or whatever it was, something like that for Chrome. So the Hobby box has got kind of a different configuration to it. So, and I don't know if I'm gonna drop all that cheddar for a Hobby box, but if I see blasters of this in the wild, I'll definitely pick some up. See what I like there. Yes. JB is shouting out the 1010 Kira auto. That was pulled by Sam's at the National. So he's at the National, and it came out of a silver pack, which is like a special pack that they hand out at the National. So I think there's certain things like if you buy X amount of product from whatever distributor, like the incentive is you get, these packs. Pulled the Kira 1/1 auto.
That's a pretty exclusive.
Good pull. Great pull. I'm getting word it sold for $5,000 already. So he expressed it because PSA is there. So he pulled it, went over to PSA, had it graded 1010, and has sold it for $5,000.
That's the most appealing thing about going to a convention like that to me. Is just, here you are, PSA, please take care of this without the shipping. And
yeah, I mean, I think it's like something like $350 to grade at this Express.
okay,
but
that makes sense.
But I think it was also like he was saying something to the effect of like he had someone there who was like, if it gyms, I'll give you $5,000 for it, which is like, yeah, I'll spend the $350 to get it graded. If it does, I'm set on a deal at
that makes
$5,000. And if it's a 910 or a 99, the auto is going to grade a 10, no problem. It's just the card, it's like, is it going to be a 10 or a 9 or whatever? Even at a 910, that card's going to sell for a bunch of money.
You're in the right position to turn something around. It is not. It is not a good place for me to take my stack of PSA 6 and 7 yellow 77s and say, "Hey, can I get the express grade on this?
I need this graded ASAP. I'm a repeller." Not perhaps not as pressing on some of those, but. Cool story from National.
BC, as we were saying about the 2024 top Star Wars Chrome, big news, they're adding these debut logos to cards for first appearance characters. I was saying that's smart of them to do. You were saying it's not gonna. It doesn't just totally get me excited.
Decision Drops has ever made.
I will be curious to see
several takes before we got to this point in live. So we workshopped some of these ideas. That was my extreme take, which I couldn't tell. I don't know if you guys could tell. I was faking. I don't feel that strongly.
My extreme take is that this logo will only be used on this card set, and these specific debut cards are going to be worth 10x all future debut cards when they change the logo.
Put out the $1 million bounty on the Shin Hati 1 of 1 already, right? Like, let's go ahead and let's go put the cards on the table. Let's get it in there.
I'm paying $300 for every base Shin Hati that comes out of this
minimum. Yeah.
But I am looking forward to just seeing how long this continues. If they change that little logo, what's the practice in sports? Have they had the same like rookie card branding on stuff for a long time?
Yeah, sports is pretty interesting. I primarily collect baseball. So baseball's wild when you get into it. But there's like prospect cards. So like before players even make it to the major leagues, they've got like a first prospect card insignia on those cards. Those go for big money, but those are largely like speculation, right? Like you don't know if the 19-year-old kid is actually going to be the greatest baseball player of all time, but if you've got his Bowman first prospect card, it's potentially worth a lot of money or no money at all, depending on if he's awful or not. Once they get into the major league, so like once they make their major league debut, usually in like the update series or the next year of Topps release, they'll get the rookie card. So it's the RC logo. Hold on. I've got.
I always thought that was a Royal Crown crossover.
Yeah, here, let me
let me put you on bigger version.
Yeah, let me show off one of my prize cards that people are going to go, "Oh, it's not that impressive." But this is a Mookie Betts rookie card. This is from 2014 Topps update, and it's got, if you can see down here, it's got the RC logo on there. So they're not doing the same logo, right? It's not the same thing, but it's similar in idea to what it's going to be. I'm gonna bring my face back now. So yeah, I think it's interesting. I think it's a good idea. I think it would have been weird if they put an RC logo on there. I know that's
No, I'm very glad that they changed that.
I think it's a stupid contentious thing that people care about, whether they say rookie card or first appearance or whatever. Like I think it's nice that there's a designation. I think it's nice that they're not sticking an RC logo on there. Debut feels more right to me.
Yeah.
Because I always felt kind of like comic books, you've got first appearance, right? Like, oh, I've got the first appearance of this character in this comic book. You don't say I've got the rookie of their comic book. It's a first appearance, and that it's like out of the sports world. So debut kind of feels like it's making kind of like that middle ground between the two, if that makes sense, you know?
Yeah, I like it. It makes sense. I think it's smart of them to do. The little logo, it has a hint of the Rebel emblem and the Imperial emblem, but it's nothing like garish that feels like it'll stand out of time. It's not connected to like I get so upset when they do the Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker lightsabers as borders for prequel stuff or whatever. This is neutral, and it looks fine. So,
speaking of the parallels and borders and stuff, I just want to give a quick update on what we're calling some of the parallels. In 2024 Chrome. So just on your standard, you've got Rainbow Refractor. That's just a classic refractor. And then once we get to the 199s, we're going straight to Camino, baby. That's a Camino Aqua Refractor. That's super duper neat.
I don't like this at all, BC, because the colors are fine, and also again, it's not a color match to me. If you've got a blue Obi-Wan card now and you have a Camino, well, I guess it kind of is because it goes Camino. You know what I'm saying? Tying it to something that's not going to match the character, whereas a green will work for everybody.
Okay. You're right. So how about this? You pull an Obi-Wan Kenobi of 99 in a Kashyyyk green. Now, if you get a Kashyyyk Chewbacca,
now we're talking.
Well, now we're cooking with gas.
That's a color match and name match. Give me that in an Omega, and I'm paying $3,000
USD.
They should just call them green. It's fine.
You know what's funny is I'm just gonna read them real quick. Okay. So Rainbow, Camino, Skywalker, Kashyyyk, gold. They didn't do anything for gold. They just kept it at gold. Rebel orange, Mustafar lava refractor, Dathomir red, and then you just got your classic super refractor.
Okay, let's workshop these maybe.
Yeah,
because I think Yoda belly green would be good. Although we've never seen his belly, it could be that he has a white patch in there or something.
I feel like it is like a teddy bear sort of thing, where it's just like a big white circle, you know.
So not Yoda belly. I do know that the gold we've got to go with Mace Windu lightsaber hilt Greebly gold. I think that'd be good.
If you did gold, could you tie it into the medal ceremony gold?
You could, or you could do a protocol gold. R5 red.
3PO boner gold. Boner gold.
It's just 3PO. A booster gold parody.
Yeah. A boost, yeah. I think the names are stupid. I don't think it's going to change anything. It just is like, hey, this is what's on my sell sheet. Yeah, I'm just kind of like, all right, yeah, let's try harder. Someone spent time to be like, you know what? Kashyyyk green.
Oh, yeah.
Like, just say green. I don't care what is going to change about the border. Are you going to do something different?
Now,
I don't think they are.
The Mustafar lava could be a different thing, though. That I'm more open to. Like, you got some weird patterns you want to name.
True.
It's fine.
True. But if there's some innovation on the actual surface or parallel style, maybe.
What I am most excited about, though, BC, are the Aurebesh.
Those are cool.
Short prints. That's a cool thing. Yeah. It's kind of silly and I don't know, like Halloween costumey, but I don't care. It looks cool. I don't love whatever you call our alphabet, like Roman characters or whatever. It's never looked cool to me. You know, it's not like Japanese characters and Cyrillic characters looked way cooler. Arubesh looks cooler, so I want
Can
one of
I
those cards.
can I throw this at you? I didn't include this. There is a Hoth Ice Blue Frozen Fractor number 2. Hold on to your britches. -5.
Are you seriously?
Yeah, that's a real thing. That's so. They've done this in baseball too, where it's some like frozen. We're going negative. We're going below 0. We're scarcity below 0. It's an 5. They're just putting a negative sign in front of it.
It's
So
really, really stupid. I like it. That comes around the other side of stupid to me, where I'm all for it.
You're like, it's gone so far beyond stupid that I think it might be genius.
I mean, I'm going to tell you, BC, if there's a Luke Skywalker hanging out upside down in the Wampa Cave, and it's out a -5 frozen refractor, I'll be one.
The Arubesh are only 99 copies of each one.
Okay. I mean, so they won't be that scarce, but I won't be able to buy the whole set. And
it would be a heavy undertaking to try to do that.
Yeah. I kind of like that. I like that they're exclusive enough to feel like, I got one, but not enough to probably price me out on every card. Like getting the Luthen in Arubesh would probably be my budget for this product, where I'm like, all right, I'll spend $35 on the one. Fine.
I think it would be it's a decent investment on the Arubesh. I think it's kind of cool. It's a first time thing,
I like these reflection cards. The Stormtrooper here might not be able to see on your screen, but the emphasis on what the Stormtrooper is seeing in the Stormtrooper's visor. There's a bunch of different. These are from a Topps Now physical set that came out for like the digital card trader app, but a physical version. These cards exist. I've looked at getting them before. They're kind of hard to come by in decent shape, and graded ones are pricey, so I never did. But this is cool. I've wanted these cards, so it'll be nice to have access to them.
Yeah, these are. I believe they're saying these are like a super short print thing that's happening on these.
Never mind.
Those. There's also the bonus stage. I don't know if you remember seeing that one. It's kind of like the arcade.
Oh, those are awful.
I think
I don't like those at all.
I don't think they look particularly good. And then there's a classic like Starship insert, which is, we've seen that in various other forms throughout a bunch of sets. The Galactic Gear, Pregnant Padme, obviously, twins in utero is the hottest Galactic Gear out there.
Very exciting.
Yeah, I think probably why I'm coming here is for the base stuff and trying to chase, an Arubesh card or, some cool inserts maybe, but it's not one I'm going to go like crazy hard on, but knowing that there will be blasters of this, there'll be retail. It's nice. It's just good to see again,
And the base card design isn't super remarkable to me, but I do like it a lot better than last year's.
JB is saying he pulled some Claudes out of Chrome Black if you're interested.
Oh man, I would love to further the Claude collection. BC, that actually brings me to a confession. I went through some cards for the first time in a long time. I've got so many cards I didn't realize I had. So, JB, as much as I would love to collect your excess Claudes, I can tell you, I got to get rid of like bulk of cards that I don't need in my life, including like some parallels where I'm like, why did I buy this? I didn't need this, $7 card.
Can we use that as a hot transition to what I've got in this box right here?
Yeah, let's do that.
So let me pull this up while we're live, because I know we had kind of like workshopped an idea of like top loader worthy or not. I
Right.
pulled this box right here off of my shelf. It's just labeled Star Wars, and it's got mostly sleeved or it's either sleeved or top loaded. I have no idea really what's in this box, so I'm just gonna kind of like mystery pull it out and load it up onto my little card stand in front of me here, and we can maybe briefly discuss, or even just kind of like take a little walk down memory lane of some of these cards. So
I hope it's
let me try
actually all Desert Storm cards.
it's just
It's
yeah.
Pokemon. Oh, did
All
I
right.
ever tell you I pulled the 3 toilet rare out of my Pokemon box?
I don't know why you didn't share that with me, because I feel like you definitely withheld it. First out of the box is
Ochi
of
of
Bastoon.
Bastoon. I remember you pulling that live on the Cargo Bay, I think, BC.
This is out of 75. I actually do like the wave on this, but man, I do not care about Ochi of Bastoon
It's a shame.
at all.
Great character, BC. You're so wrong about that.
But not top loaded, right? So I'm probably okay on that front. I know everyone's going to be excited about this banger right here. This was pulled by mine own hand. I think when we were Twitch streaming, when I was chasing a bunch of like loose packs of Clone Wars and stuff.
Yeah.
So I remember getting this Ahsoka and being super jazzed because I was like, "Hey, I got an Ahsoka." This is
That's
a cool Ahsoka
looking card. Yeah.
Yeah. I should probably top load that one. Oh, okay. So we're getting. I believe this is in reference to Ochi of Bastoon, that we should read the comic because we love him. We got some flagship. This reminds me, and I was chasing all of the Andor characters in this green sparkle thing of $4.99. This is my Quinlan Voss that whatever. But I really like and these are super affordable because they're out of $4.99.
Yeah. I wonder if
But I
that's
really
going to
like
be the
these.
Mustafar. I wonder if that's what they'll call
the look. Yeah, I don't know. So that's fun. Let's see. I bet it's gonna be. Oh no!
I read about Ochi in the Lando Luke Skywalker book. I think is where Ochi appeared.
Yeah, he features prominently in that. This is what 40th anniversary.
Yeah, there's some cool cards in that set.
Yeah,
big old honking border on those things.
Really went for it on. Here, let's. You will appreciate these. I did sneak a peek at this. We've got. Hey, if there was a debut, insignia, it would go on this card. This is the 1 of 50.
Yeah, that's an
from
awesome
the
card.
duel. I believe you alerted me to the existence on eBay, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna buy that right now."
That's the first appearance card that I would like a version of. I looked for those for a long time and could never snag one. You got the alpha.
I did get the alpha, and then I opened this bad Larry.
That is a bad Larry.
Out of my Galaxy, out of 25. This card looks really
that's
good.
awesome.
I think they're a nice sort of pairing to have those. I know they're not in the same color board. And honestly, I'd trade this to get into a green to get into it. But yeah, I like when they include the animated stuff. What's the series again? I'm so Visions. The Visions stuff. They did basically on demand for the second season of Visions, right?
Yeah, I pulled the 1 of 1 from that spy episode. Remember, BC? That was no. I guess I didn't pull it. I guess I bought it for like $10 or something.
You bought it super cheap. Yeah, the Women of Star Wars. A lot of greens in here. You're gonna see a running theme, because I am a green parallel nut job. I forgot I had this one.
That's an old set.
Yeah, this is
what started it all.
It's what started it all. Yeah, the Skywalker saga. That was the blaster that was on the shelf before the world went cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs on blasters. You just couldn't get them. This one, oh no, gosh, oh golly. This one I know was a gift from you, which is this concept art for this sick card. I believe this is like 20. I don't forget what year it is, but it's Chrome Legacy, which I really like the Legacy stuff. I think it's really. But yeah, this was a gift.
Yeah, I was hunting a lot of those concept art cards from that set because they were relatively affordable whenever I was looking at them.
You know what? I'm gonna do here. Let me grab, because I guess this is my biggest show and tell from the which is probably the big I undertook and completed as a. That's a beauty too. As a which was this stack right here of the Chrome Legacy Rebels cards.
BC, your mic just suddenly got very hot and it's peaking.
Maybe should I bring it down?
Oh, that sounds nice. Yeah.
Should I bring it down? We're talking Rebels, baby. We're talking Ezra Bridger.
It should be fine on the stream in any case. I think I have a limiter on it, so don't worry about it too much.
I spent this was several months in the making of just like tracking these down, because it's all of the cards that are part of the base set in the of 50, and of course in the green border. But you get our boys fighting Vader there. You get Rex, and of course there's the premium is always on the Ahsoka stuff.
Yeah, I remember it was hard for you to find the ones with Ahsoka.
It was here. We'll get to it. It's one of my favorite cards. It should be in the set somewhere. I love this card. I've got this in the of 10 again, and a one that you alerted me to, and I think I have it in the 25. I think I got the
little mini rainbow. A good card to have a little mini rainbow on.
It is, yeah. This is the one I think I spent maybe like $40 on this, which I felt like I was overpaying, but I never saw it come up, so I was like, I'm gonna get it. I'm just gonna buy it.
You would have a hole in that incomplete collection at this point, probably.
Yeah, but yeah, it's all of them from that particular set, and then it ends on that nice shot there. So that was one of my big collector projects that I undertook.
What are the greens out of?
These are out of 50.
That's what I thought.
In Legacy.
Yeah, that's tricky. 50 starts getting tricky.
50 does start getting tricky. That's why I'm going to bring my face back now. 50 does get a little tricky. That's why I liked in Flagship that there was a green version out of 499, because most of those I could get for like $2. And I just need to go back and polish up my Andor.
I was collecting the oranges, which I think are of like 100 or I can't remember.
Reiko says hello, by the way.
Sorry, I'm back. What I missed?
Reiko says hello in the comments.
Howdy.
Check in the comments. Hey, Reiko. Let's see. We've got Jamie. What's going on here, y'all? I'm tuning in a while. Got super busy with work over the last 6 months or so. Hey, the story of the Cargo Bay, baby. Also, there's just, I think we referenced it. There hasn't been a whole lot of top Star Wars to really talk about.
No.
But maybe we could, in the business, we call this transition. Maybe we could pivot to Acolyte, because we haven't discussed the sort of the finale. I don't think we talked about the last 2 episodes together, really. So, Acolyte, Star Wars content that's out there.
Bring us to the lobby of the Galactic Star Cruiser here.
Bring us in the lobby.
Lobby talk. Yeah, the Acolyte. It's over. I don't know. How do I feel about it? There's some interesting stuff in there. I'm not like I'm not super stoked on it, but it, like it was better than I thought it would be for a while. The production design was kind of cool. They're poking around some areas. Mostly, my main feeling is just there's about 2 hours of content / information stretched into however many hours it was and however many weeks. And it was hard for me to stay excited knowing, like, okay, next episode, we're going to move about this far, probably. But there's lots of notable stuff in there. It was different. They tried some things.
They did. I thought some of the things were successful. Thought some of them were just, man, I didn't care about. But yeah, I think my overall takeaway was like it was so uneven for me that it was hard for me to like continue to be excited. Like initially, like say through like probably the first half, the first like 3 or 4 episodes of the season, I was like, okay, I'm kind of like looking forward to like Tuesday night, you know, they're gonna drop a new episode. I'm kind of excited to see what happens. And then after a while,
episode 3 was a hard break for me where I realized, oh, they might just make me watch children on screen for 30 minutes. Like, they might make me watch an extended flashback for an entire episode. So I was a little wary going into the watches after that.
What got worse for me was that we got an extended flashback episode, and then we basically did another episode extending the flashback. And where they're like, let's go back and look at.
Oh yeah, the other side of it. Yeah.
Yes. Hey, perspective.
The Jedi more.
Yeah. I hated that.
Yeah,
I was
too.
like, we've done this. Like, it just felt like at a certain point, it was like, hey, let's try to really zhuzh the story so we can make more than the actual 2 hours of interesting stuff that we got.
Yeah, I agree. But to not just talk about things that annoy me, which I could do freeform for a long time, I feel like. What I did like, I liked where we ended, sort of. Let's put up a spoiler warning for Acolyte. Where it ended with like Sith people being Sith and Jedi dying and like revenge and all this. Where it ended was like if we were starting here with the Acolyte. That's where I thought we were. I thought we might have like one episode leading into that, and then we get to follow the Sith being Sith.
Yeah.
It'd be hard to be excited for season 2 because I'm so sick of these seasons that go nowhere. And it's not Mando where I sit down and I know I'm going to have a good time. Or if I don't this week, maybe next week I'll have a great time with the Monster of the Week. But I don't know. I thought I liked where it was going at the end. It was.
Yeah. Hey.
I don't know why the twins split up. I don't understand at all why the twins split up. Do you?
I didn't understand that. I didn't understand. But to be honest, that much thought into it to even try to comprehend it because it wasn't apparent to me. The memory wipe, the splitting up, like
that was such a weird note to end on. After
it just felt like it's a hard reset before season 2, which very clearly is what the finale was like. Hey, we could do more of this.
What did you think about Plagueis peering out of a cave, BC?
I got so excited.
I did like it. I liked how warm he was.
Yeah, no, I thought it was cool.
Like, hey, there's a little guy in there.
I thought it was cool. I kind of figured all along that that's where at some point that would have to be referenced. You know, I think if you had made the season about Plagueis and then the helmeted bad guy, that relationship and him either going behind his back, maybe trying to recruit someone, you know, their relationship, exploring that more.
Yeah, if this season had been from the perspective of the apprentice of Plagueis, whatever his name is, what's the the main who was the Cortosis helmet's name? Qimir? If it had been his perspective mostly this season, and then Osha's perspective next season or something would be cool. I think there's room for all of the Sith that are around at the moment.
I believe it's Qimir.
Qimir.
Yeah, I at a certain point, I was like, I just would question why we had to have so much Jedi.
Yeah, it wasn't.
So much.
It really sealed in the Jedi of this era are cops, and they're just out doing space things in space. But we got so much time with Sol feeling bad about his past or whatever. It's like, I only need that once if you sell it, and I got it. But it was just a lot of retreading around that event, which wasn't that exciting, and we never really got any closure on. I guess we got a big lightsaber fight. No, that was.
Yeah. So what happened was what happened was we get the initial perspective, which is the kids. Right. Being separated when one of them sets fire to the whole thing. Oh no! So that happens, and then we go back and see that it's all about how him and the other guy who just wanted to go back to Coruscant, I guess was his
They're like, we need to abduct these children now.
Yeah, he's like, we need to get out of here. And he's like, well, that'll surely get me back to Coruscant because I hate it. It wasn't that his only objective.
This is the guy who's later floating in a trance and agrees to commit suicide. Yeah. He wanted to go back to Coruscant.
He just wanted to go home. So they're like, let's go scale the building. They break in. Sol kills their mother.
That's right, and very quickly too, right? He's just like, I don't like you.
She starts doing a weird disapparating thing, and then he just boom, lightsabers her, and she's dead. Very strange situation, and not at all worth the build up to what it actually was. Of clearly Sol did something that he feels really guilty about.
Yeah,
yes, he did something bad, and they're hiding it. I thought it would somehow be worse than what he did.
Yeah, what we got was what I thought we were leading up to was this big corruption of the Jedi, and instead it read more this is a police violence of they got scared and they killed some people and they shouldn't have, versus this, they were actually sent there on purpose to crush this. And instead what we get is the institutional or the corruption of the Jedi is they decide to hide it together. So it's not even really about the power structure, aside from them being dumb now, and continuing to send, Jedi involved in this thing to investigate it. It's really just about their little small Jedi pack to be we're never going to talk about this again. We just murdered all these people and stole some children. But the stealing children part is normal, so we don't feel too bad about that.
Yeah. I get that they're exploring the
Jedi are bad.
The Jedi are bad,
or at least severely incompetent. Yeah,
right. Which at a certain point, people hey, you have to address this because look at how stupid everybody was for the existing canon to occur. They're hey, this is really stupid. You guys were just chilling and doing Palpatine's work as he was rising through the political ranks, and you're just taking meetings with him, having a cup of coffee, in between Senate sessions.
I think that's a compelling, narrative device, but it is really weird in a show that was about the Sith that we don't get it from their perspective. Instead, we spend all this time from the Jedi's perspective learning that they suck and that they're bad.
The most interesting part of it is when Qimir is talking to, which one's the good one? Osha? May?
Osha until the end when they switch, but
right. Osha initially is good. When he's talking to Osha about the institution of the Jedi, when he's talking to her about the monopoly basically on being able to, what gives them the only right to, to use this power and
That's
to put
the show,
parameters on.
BC. That's what it
That
should be. 10 minutes of that an episode,
yes.
and then like a heist every episode, or a Sith spy, fun time thing.
That was by far the most compelling thing that happened in the show.
There was like sexual tension there.
Yes. It was this
like
literal seduction to the dark side.
Yeah.
Like an actual seduction to the dark side, which is wildly more interesting to me than any of that Jedi bullshit that I'm just like, I got it. Yes, the Jedi aren't competent. Yes, we're pointing our finger at this. Why do we have to keep literally going back to story that we've already told, taking me away from what I have already agreed is like the most interesting, like, nugget of a concept that exists within the show? And they're like, yeah, but let's go back and do some more Soul in the past. I'm like, no, I don't want or need that.
Yeah. And it became less believable as it went on more and more, I felt like.
Let me check our comments. We're blowing up here in the comments.
Oh yeah, well, we're sharing opinions about things that people may disagree with. I imagine
let's see. That's about Topps Chrome release. That's releasing here in a few weeks. So check your retailers for that one. Acolyte started strong and dragged half through with a boring ending. I mean, generally kind of agree. It was like, okay, all right, oh, interesting, and then pittered out a little bit.
Yeah.
That's I did kind of feel that way. We'll see if you guys like fan edits. Cut the shows down to 2-3 hours. I just pretty decent one, so I'm sure there's a good fan edit.
I made a fan edit of Obi-Wan or Kenobi. My buddy made a much better version, but I made a version that basically cut directly from like, I'm gonna rescue Leia to Obi-Wan underwater in the Inquisitor facility. It was more elaborate than that. But yeah, maybe someday I'll check out a fan edit. Although I don't know, this is a hard sell for a rewatch for me, PC. Hard sell. I
think I would only watch like an episode. Like when Kymer is on the seduction thing is happening, that's the only time where I'm like, there's something interesting, compelling, there's chemistry, there's intrigue and mystery and a sense of danger that was like, oh, when she puts the helmet on at the end of the episode, that was a sick ending.
Yeah, that was a good ending.
Super compelling.
She put it on and she liked it, was the impression that I got. It's like, oh, it's dark and scary in here and this feels good. Was like, oh, cool. Right.
Yeah, but there is no world in which I'm like, let me fire up some Acolyte.
A lot of people like the lightsaber fights, and the lightsaber fights are entertaining to watch. So that was cool. It's just like, I'm never, as much as I say, like, I want to go see a Star Wars movie so I can eat popcorn and watch lightsabers. Right. I'm not really, the lightsaber combat has never been the highlight for me. Spaceship combat more than that, but it's all CG. It's less compelling to me now, the way it is. However it is constructed out of practical and digital elements is usually not as exciting. So.
While we're in the lobby and we're sort of spitballing here, you brought up popcorn, and it got my brain thinking about a theatrical experience I recently had. The movie Twisters.
Oh, how was Twisters, BC?
Buddy, it's a cinematic masterpiece, unparalleled in the history of. It is exactly what you think Twisters is going to be. And it's great to sit down and drink an oversized soda and have an oversized popcorn and just like, hey, let's watch CGI tornadoes. But most excitingly, the lead character of Twisters, the Glenn Powell movie star guy, he plays an Arkansan in that film, and it's the best thing that's happened to this state since the 1994 Hogs championship team.
Well, BC, this is a through line because you know what I watched for the first time? The Abyss James Cameron's The Abyss. How did I grow up in Arkansas where everyone's obsessed with the Hogs and no one my whole life told me there's a guy with an Arkansas Razorbacks hat who's constantly playing with it, adjusting it. He's a hero in the movie. He gets to shoot a machine gun. He punches a bad guy in the face. He punches a Marine in the face after being I could beat up a Marine. I'm from Arkansas.
This is news to me. I have
not. Oh
not.
My gosh! See, it's incredible. The movie opens and the main character has on this New York Yankees hat, and I'm thinking, man, that Yankees logo is inarguably a great logo.
Classic,
timeless, looks good on a hat. I wish there was like a cool Arkansas hat in this movie because there's like a lot of these like basically deep sea drillers and their hats. Sure enough, a guy in like a 1989 old school Razorback hat shows up, and again, that hat is prominently featured. He wears it in different ways. And I was like, how did no one in my youth tell me about this Arkansan on screen? Because it's rare, BC. So looky there. We're both watching Arkansasiers on the screen.
I love it. It's always nice to have some hog representation.
Yeah.
I'm jumping around all over the place now. I went to a real nostalgia concert series at the Amp here recently. It was Edwin McCain,
no idea,
Collective Soul, and Hootie and the Blowfish was the lineup. Stellar lineup. Collective Soul, their drummer, like partway through their set, the lead singer came out and was like, "Hey, can you guys do us a favor?" And we're like, "You want us to call the Hogs?" And of course, they wanted us to call the Hogs. But it turns out the drummer's dad, who was like 90 years old, like they FaceTimed him so that he could see 50,000 people calling the Hogs, and it was honestly a heartwarming experience. Like the drummer, like someone threw him a hat that said pigs on it. It's a sick Arkansas hat that just says pigs in red. And so he put the hat on for the rest of the set, but it's like his dad graduated from the UA in 1947 or something. We're like, what? That's insane. Like, you guys want to call the Hogs? We're like, you don't have to tell us to call the Hogs, man. We're in Arkansas.
Man, look at that. Look at the little bit of hometown pride here in the Cargo Bay, you see.
That's right. And getting a little hog talk here. We are excited about Coach Cal coming to town.
I'm gonna be honest with you, BC. I could care less.
Hey, it's excitement up here on the hill, baby. We're back. We're gonna turn and burn a bunch of freshman prospects into NBA players in no time.
I do get updates regularly from my father on all things Arkansas sports related, so I'll be hearing about it. I was going to mention, before you even mentioned the Razorbacks, Twisters, I'm a little interested in seeing, just because being out here on the West Coast, I don't have regular reminders from tornado warnings and sirens of like, get in your bathtub, you might be dead soon, which is like healthy to have growing up, you know? Everyone get in the bathtub, you might die.
It is crazy because I've never experienced a tornado firsthand, but I've been close to a lot of them.
Yeah.
It is the aftermath is one of the scariest things that you can possibly imagine. Like there was one that went through like the
Mayflower and
that one, but there was one in Little Rock not too long ago, like up on the I forget the road, but it's not Kavanaugh, but it's like the first exit off of 430, and you go down that road, kind of by where Jordy lives, and it's just like you could just see like a knife from the sky just run across the landscape and like all the buildings. You're like, that's insane.
Yeah,
like it's just like it literally looks like a sky knife just came in and went and just trashed everything. And then you see buildings that are right next to it that are just like, didn't get me.
Yeah.
And then you see just complete devastation,
That
like
path,
to the ground.
that knife path. I remember the first time I saw it. It was just like in some woods somewhere. But we were driving. I was like, "What is that, man?" It's like that's a tornado. Yeah. That's what they do.
That's what they do. That's why you get in the bathtub.
The terrifying finger of God.
Yeah. And then the Wednesday at noon, the tornado sirens just checking, just making sure everything's good here.
I thought that was God talking when I was a tiny child of the regular. This is a test of the emergency broadcast system.
Oh man, I'm just talking about the sirens in Conway that literally every day or every Wednesday at noon, you're like, oh, it's noon on Wednesday, because you would just hear that wah, like throughout the town.
That'd be the sneakiest time for a tornado to show up, DC.
That's what everyone said. Is like, if a tornado really wanted to get us, it'd do it at noon on a Wednesday. Yeah. So how's your weather out there? You got any? Is it fire season yet?
We got so much rain over the past year or so. We're technically not in a drought, and there hasn't been a big fire season. We might get a year or two off from the insane smoke and everything, which would be nice. We'll see though. It's barely getting hot. It's just starting to warm up out here. Really, September is the worst. The worst for the heat.
Yeah. We had like a stretch last week where it was like I can only describe it as not the devil's butthole for Arkansas summer, and it was so nice. Where it's like you walked out and warned me like I hate everything. Cause like there's a point where it's just so hot when I step outside that I'm like, nope, I just would rather not ever be outside again.
Yeah. I remember that awful feeling. It's like that out here, but usually for 2 hours a day. In the peak of summer, there'll be like a few miserable hours. And it's nice and cool. That's never that humid.
Nice and cool, baby. So we've gone wildly off topic because we're in the lobby, and that's what we do. I'd want to steer us back to Star Wars because what's on the horizon. The best. What might be the best Star Wars show.
Can I advance a slide? Do we have?
There's no slide. Sorry. There's no slide.
There is a poster, apparently. I never figured out if it was real or not. For, of course, BC, the Skeleton Crew. But we need the Skeleton Crew graphics. We need skeleton suits.
We're gonna rebrand to the Skeleton Bay. We're all in on Skeleton Crew. You famously love children in any type of story.
Stick it in my media. I definitely love, especially live action child acting. My favorite kind of stuff.
It doesn't get much better than that. I think to me, I'm living in like a mean world of my own. Yeah, I'm living in a mean world of my own. I'm going to pretend that it's the best thing of all time. And if it actually meets my expectation, I'm just going to say that I'm a genius,
Let's agree here, right now. The Cargo Bay will never say a negative thing about the Skeleton Crew. We are going to glaze every episode that comes out when it comes out. If you want positive coverage of Skeleton Crew, we will lie to you.
We can. Since we're testing the live waters, we can even go live right after an episode and talk about how good every single episode was.
Maybe we should go live during the episode, BC.
Just get our popcorn and be like, are you guys also watching how good Skeleton Crew is right now? Because, wow, Jude Law's got us. Yeah, I can't say a bad word about it. I think it's worst maybe ever.
You hear that? Disney? You want to fly us out to the premiere?
Yeah, want to bring the Cargo Bay out and we start using our just a massive spotlight and shine it on the Skeleton Crew. A show's going to be good when there's rumors of massive reshoots that took place, and that were things that were delayed because of a writer's strike, and they're like, hey, yeah, we had to go back and reshoot a bunch of stuff. Anytime reshoots get involved, it makes me go, they were doing it right the first time, but they wanted to perfect it on another go around. They probably, but just to be sure, they had to massively rewrite several portions of the program and then go and reshoot it.
That's exciting. I didn't know that, BC. That's exciting news to me because that also reeks of quality and.
I tried looking the other day, and it just says late 2024. So there's not even
like. It says late 2024. Okay.
I did not see a hard date on it, but it does sort of feel like hey, we're dotting the I's and crossing the T's here, right, guys?
I can't wait for that first trailer. I'm sure we'll just get a little tease first, but I want the full trailer.
I mean, Comic-Con is this weekend. Did we get? But usually they save it for like D23 or whatever. But maybe they will announce something at Comic-Con. Who knows? We'll see.
I heard they're shooting Mando and Grogu, BC. Being shot.
Yippee! Wahoo! I hope Jude Law is a Sith Lord. I do too. I hope Jude Law is a Sith Lord, and it's like Acolyte Junior is what he's got going on. It's like his little Acolyte Academy. Sadly, I don't think that's going to be the case. But I don't know. I'll go in with an open mind. I did want to get just sort of like you mentioned rewatchability, right? With Acolyte, I do not see me ever rewatching this again. In terms of what Star Wars has been released in the television format, from most rewatchable to least rewatchable, where do you sort of fall? I mean, if we're looking at Mando, obviously, we're looking at Ahsoka, looking at Book of Boba Fett. We could include Visions in there too. We've got Acolyte. Am I missing another major? Andor, of course.
Did you say Kenobi?
Kenobi. Yeah, so Kenobi, Book of Boba Fett, Andor, Mando, Acolyte, Ahsoka. All live action. That's 6 live action.
I mean, it's definitely Mando season 1 and 2 are most rewatchable to me, and followed closely by Andor. Good. The reason I don't put Andor first is because it's a lot of dialogue that I don't want to burn out on, and I feel like, and Mando also, like, you can watch an episode out of context and it doesn't matter, which is great. I've done that several times where I've been like, I'm just gonna go pop on one of these old Mando eps. It'll be fun.
How good were the first 2 seasons of Mando when it was just like, hey, it's just a show that isn't taking on the weight of the world and we're going on adventures?
You see, there is a universe where Grogu went off with Luke Skywalker. We never saw fake face Luke again. It was fine. They used it just to get rid of Grogu, and then season 3 was right back to Mando doing Mando things. Would have been cool.
I want to live in that universe because I was so ready to get that little baby and just be like, all right, let the bounty hunter go back to bounty.
That was part of the joy and the excitement I had with that episode. Part of the reason I was so hyped on that season was they did it. They passed off the baby. They're doing it.
And then they're like, you know what? Let's really dig into some baby training with Skywalker on season 3. And I was like, I don't know.
That's a weird season of TV.
Actually,
that was in Book of Boba Fett. Yeah.
Was in Book of Boba Fett. What the fuck? Anyway, What happened?
Don't rewatch it. Forget it. Let it fade into memory. See, what would you rewatch?
Andor is always. I don't feel like I'll burn out on it. What I'll usually do is like 3 episodes, like I'll be like, I feel like doing Aldani. you know, or you know,
Last time I did Andor, I rewatched the whole thing for the first time in like a year. Probably did that in 2-3 days. Had a great time.
It holds up on every rewatch. I am the target audience for that. Like
Yeah, same.
it felt like someone was like, I wrote Star Wars for you.
It's happened
And I was
twice in
just
my
like-
life, BC. I saw Samurai Jack. I said, I want this to be Star Wars. I saw Chernobyl. I said, I want this to be Star Wars.
Yeah.
Both seemed highly unlikely, but it happened.
Both happen. Yeah, Mando season 1 and 2 are up there on the rewatch. I feel like I'm strangely back and watch Ahsoka because I kind of breezed through those episodes when they came out and was like that. I was so excited just because like I love the character. I was like, all right, I'm getting an Ahsoka show, and it was just sort of like all over the place and felt like it was subservient to this Mando verse thing that's happening. And that kind of bummed me out, you know. But I think there's some good stuff there that I would go back and rewatch. Don't think I will ever watch the Book of Boba Fett again ever in my life. I don't care.
It's a shame. I feel like the first couple episodes were.
God, I know.
It had potential.
Yeah.
Before they
wasted it and then destroyed the potential that was there. Yeah.
And we didn't really use it as a motivating factor for anything.
You and I were both on the first 2 episodes because it was like and like becoming part of the society, and then they're like, nah, we're not doing that.
Again,
and
you can fix all the Book of Boba Fett by just having him roll into Jabba's palace with Tusken Raiders on his side, and he's like, I'm gonna give these people their planet back, like, and I'm gonna manage the trade between the people of the Sands and the city of Mos Espa, or it could have been really cool, and he could have had the Tusken Raiders in the final fight. Could have been this. Imagine a war scene of Tusken Raiders versus the Scooter Gang.
Like if they had leaned into the fact that George definitely stole a lot of Dune ideas for Star Wars, and incorporated some more of
which it's wild they didn't do that more just from the beginning of like, we're going back to Tatooine all the time. Why don't we steal a little more before it hits the big screen? And it's
even just taking like the tone, like the political tone of what Dune is, and saying, hey, we're obviously playing like basically only like loose structures of power in here, factions in Book of Boba. Like if you clearly define those and lean into them and don't make them cartoonish caricatures, like if you make it serious, which is what everybody who likes Boba Fett wanted, was like, hey, he should be taken seriously. He's a dangerous guy, and we get like teddy bear Boba Fett. It was just
it's so weird. There's no reason for people to fear him. It's so. Imagine this, BC. You know that Dune music that does the drum pitter patter that comes in. It does like a zoom in. Imagine that drum music's coming in and it's zooming in onto Jabba's palace, and we cut to the interior, and it's a bunch of Tusken Raiders and Boba Fett and like one dignitary, and it's just the tension. You can cut it with a knife because they're going to cut off the water supply to the palace and force them out or whatever. Instead of like, we
gotta get these street bikers over here.
A Barry robot and a Twi'lek who was like, woo! Oh no!
It is the dumbest thing.
It's really sad. It could have been great.
It could have been great. Similar, Kenobi is above it. I do feel like I owe Kenobi a read, but I still, it's on my lower half of.
I mean, you got
rewatchability list. You
got Ewan McGregor playing Obi-Wan Kenobi on the volume, so
come on.
Take what you can out of it. I still think I'm glad it exists. It's still firmly in the like, I'd rather have this as it is than not have it at all. So
Which I feel like that there could be a season 2 of the movie. I feel like it's harder because you're dealing with a movie star. You know what I
He
mean? Like you've
wants
got
to
to
do
get
it though. You know, he's
yeah.
saying he does.
I feel like there's a world where you know we could get something that's not. Hey, we're gonna take Baby Leia on. Let's tell an actual like. Let's just keep him away from Darth Vader and tell us Obi-Wan Kenobi story. You know, um,
There's a good one written
that
already. There's a great Legends novel that's really good.
I think it's like I would much rather see a season 2 of that than care. I really don't. I guess I'm intrigued by Acolyte, but I feel so burned by the first season. Investing the time and energy to another season. If you make it good, sure. Andor, I am of course just beside myself, excited for the second and final season as we conclude a story, try to flog it until it's dead. I feel like high hopes. Obviously, there's the potential for it not being as good as the first season, but
I do like that they don't have to stick the landing super hard, since there's Rogue One is what it's leading into, which is like we already have, as whatever you rank Rogue One as, they've already got their dramatic ending, you know, for the character, which I hope takes some pressure off of the season to be like, we got to build to this one final thing.
Yeah, I feel like the structure that they're working in with that character is a lot easier to be like 2 seasons and then we're done. We don't have to try to insert other like do a backdoor pilot for another show or plan a character for another movie. It's like we can contain the story and then we'll be done with it. I think if they can do that cleanly, I'm just gonna be like, that's the only Star Wars I will ever need. I really only ever need season 1 of Andor.
Yeah.
And like the original trilogy, just to be like, I'm good. I'm set. I love Rebels and I love Clone Wars, but those original trilogy Andor, other stuff sprinkled about is just whatever. But it is that level of just like love for me.
Yeah, I hope it's good, BC. I hope season 2 doesn't let us down. But as far as what's on the Star Wars horizon, that's it. As far as I know, we got cards coming. We'll be doing these live things if this works or worked at all. I hope it did.
Yeah, and hey, thanks for hopping in the. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for
thanks all out there.
With us. It's been great. I wish I was more attuned to the chat, but it's been good chatting with you. Good talking.
That's probably
Star
about
Wars
as much
cards.
That's what you can expect. I don't feel like we'll ever be a super reading chat like crazy live stream, because we can barely keep our own thoughts straight when we're talking directly to each other. But we will check in with the chat when we go live, which will now be a thing if this works. This will be the cargo bay format for the foreseeable future.
Let's do it live.
If you're watching this and it's not live, wow, I'm impressed. Hey. Thanks for.
Hey, if you're future viewer, thanks for sticking around. If you're still here, leave a like and subscribe on this if you haven't already. I suspect you're not here anymore. In fact, I feel as if I'm talking to no one now.
I'm going to close the door.
Drop a comment. Say I made it. I always love it. I made it.
At your command, BC, I will shut the door on this live.
Shoom. Did we do it?
I'm pushing the stop streaming, right?